Just introduce ourselves and we'll start the class. It's a very simple idea. I am Dr. Shashikant. I did my MBBS followed by MD in Yoga and Rehabilitation, followed by MSc in Applied Psychology, and I combine various aspects of mind-body therapies so that I can help people to evolve their study skills and increase their attention span, memory, and reduce the distractibility. Now, nowadays it's a modern world where we are getting distracted by various means. So especially if you say gadgets or your homeworks. So there are various things which are distracting us. So I'll teach you some techniques where scientifically reasoned techniques where it will help you to increase your long-term memory. Okay. I'll ask you one question. So what you ate for breakfast two days before? Just think over what you ate for breakfast 2 days before. Rice. What you had? You are able to remember or you are finding it difficult to remember?
It's difficult.
Idli. Difficult to remember. Okay. What is your date of birth?
September 25th.
You remember it? Why? So usually these short informations, when they are stored into the brain, I'll just draw this as a brain, just think it casually, it's like a brain. It will get stored into a short term memory. Stored into a particular part of the brain as a short term memory. When we sleep, the brain will work in such a way that it will erase the not important information. So whatever we feel which is not important, what dress I was wearing on that day, you don't remember unless it is a special occasion where it is made you remember on your birthday or something like that. Other than that, routinely you don't remember, is it not? So that is information in the short term memory. But when I asked you about, just think it like a short term memory. When I asked you about your date of birth, you could recollect and tell me immediately. Is it not? You could tell it because it is stored somewhere deep down into the brain, certain areas of the brain which are meant for long term memory. So today what you are going to learn is how to convert more of the information from the short term memory, add on to the long term memory. That's what you are going to learn. Okay? Till this you are okay with me? Our brain stores information by three processes. One is by absorption. All the information which you gather from various classes, everything, audio, you are listening, you are seeing, you are writing, you are memorizing, all the process, you are seeing the videos, they are all because of multiple absorption routes. You are using your senses to absorb the information. Okay? Then what you are doing is you are assimilating. Assimilation of information. Whatever absorbed information what you are having, you are processing the information in your brain. So processing and then you put it into short term memory or long term memory, that is different, but you are assimilating it. Then your re-expression. So you are doing absorption, assimilation and re-expression, only these three methods. But in our education system is as such that education system is making you do more absorption. Is it not? You go to your school at what time?
8:30.
8:30 till what time?
3:30.
Till 3:30. So till we consider 3 o'clock. How many classes in that particular period?
12.
12 classes.
9.
9 classes. So are they continuously one after another, or is there any gap in between?
1 after.
One after another. So there is a learn process. Our education system is wanting you to learn all the time. Is it not? When you come back from your school, you take a break, you have some breakfast, something you'll have, some snacks you'll have, you'll drink milk, and then you'll go to tuitions. Go to tuitions. Most of the children go to tuitions. So again there is a learning. So what exactly we are doing? We are focusing on the first part, absorption too much, without focusing on the assimilation and re-expression. So this is a problem. So entire education system is a problem. It is focusing on learn rather than learn, play, learn. When you are doing something else other than studying, the studied information will get accumulated in the brain, absorbed in the brain, processed in the brain, stored in the brain in various compartments. So that has to happen. It is normally not happening. So you cannot change education system in a day. It is going to change in due course of time, take a lot of time. So these tricks what we are going to discuss are going to help you for making your brain assimilate more, re-express more. Okay? So we got to know that we are into a system where we are made to learn more, absorb more. So we need to do the assimilation more. So this technique are designed in such a way that it is going to increase your memory, it is going to increase your attention span, it is going to increase your absorption ability, it is going to increase your distractibility, it is going to balance your sensitivity. See, some people are very intelligent. We learn so many things. But this sensitivity will put our mind-body complex into a challenge, where your sensitivity learning is more, at the same time applicability in terms of getting the work done. So you are good in one place of studying, you are not good in some other place. Maybe you are not very good in the way you interact with the teachers, the way you interact with your parents, the way, there are various aspects. Because I might get an intelligence ego. I am intelligent, I am beautiful, I am so and so, all those. So these techniques will also help you to mitigate that. So first technique I use here is SQR3 technique. So most of your textbooks are designed in such a way that it follows this particular method because of increasing the long-term memory. As I already mentioned, short-term memory, long-term memory. For it I need to do something called as repeat or rehearse. If I do more of repetition and rehearsal, my long-term memory is going to be better. If your stored information, whatever you have studied is in this short-term memory, you won't feel better. You might tend to forget unless you revise, unless you do something with it, unless you write it down, unless you memorize. So information will go to the long-term memory when you do the rehearsal. So this technique of this SQR3 is meant for increasing in your long-term memory. So S means survey, Q is question, R is read, another R is recall, another R is survey, question, read, revise. Okay. It is interesting. It is an information registration in the brain. Rather than casually registering the information in the brain, you are specifically targeting that this information is good for me and I want to register it, something like that. So first is survey. How much time you are going to give? You give 1 to 2 minutes, not more than that. In this, what you do is you are going to do a preview. You take your book, take your chapter, go on to the reading of its titles. Just go through the title, what is introduction, what it is highlighted in that particular chapter. So what are the types, if you take a circle, so what is circle, what is the definition of circle, what are the various things in that. So what it defines is, in survey, you glance through or preview, you don't read as such, you just go through. When you read a newspaper, take a newspaper, what you do in the beginning? You will not start from the one end and then read to the next end. You don't do that, no? You just see the highlights, what is important information which you see through. Maybe 1 or 2, you scan through, preview. Huh? Yeah. So what, even if we cut it, what we do is we see through the important information, which one is important, second one is important. Then you start reading. So that will register some information in the brain saying that something is okay, something is interesting, something is important. So that you should not take more than 1 or 2 minutes. Just scan through. Open the textbook, chapter, read the headlines, read the instructions or previews and see what are all the contents in that particular chapter. 1 or 2 minutes. Then question. So when you do the preview, you get to know that you have some content to read through or some content to study. Then ask yourself a question that what could be the possible questions from this particular chapter. The moment you read the chapter, you will get to know that what are the possible questions which can come. If not, as I mentioned, most of the study books are designed based on this. Open and take out at the end of the chapter, you will find out question answers. Is it not? Sample, fill in the blanks, question answers, 1 mark, 2 marks, all those things, you will find the questions. Just read through some of the questions. Again, give 1 or 2 minutes. So this set of information, I am telling my brain 2 times that it is important, something is, register it. Just casually you are making the important highlight. Then you start reading. Take your time. Some people will read in the form of paragraphs, some people read in the form of pages. Based on your reading speed. What is your reading speed? Number of words per minute.
Not number of pages.
No. Number of words per minute. So what you do as an experiment is, when you go home, take your textbooks, put an alarm clock for 1 minute, start reading from one end, ask your parents, somebody to hold on for 60 seconds, read that particular duration 60 seconds and how many words in that particular 60 seconds you can read.
So in one page, what is the average words?
Depends on what you are. Are you into mathematics, are you into English, are you into what? In mathematics there will be less number of words, more number of calculations.
But what science? Average?
Depends. Okay. So based on your reading speed, we categorize into slow reader, medium reader and fast reader. So in amongst all of us, somebody will spend less time, but they can, store a lot of information and they re-express. Did you see any of these friends in your school? They can read less. You see them, they are chit-chatting, playing around, but still they focus on their studies. Maybe their reading speed might be more. We're not sure. Reading speed might be more. So ultimate aim of you is to increase your reading speed. We'll take up questions later. Increase the reading speed in such a way that your number of words read per minute will be increased. Okay. So casually, however you could read, as per your understanding, some people will read it loud, some people will read it slow, some people will make down the notes and read. However you read, take your time. Here I don't restrict you to 1 or 2 minutes. Take your time and read. Immediately after reading, close the book and try to recall what you read. So 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4 times you are making the registry into the brain that okay, something is important, something is important, something is important. Read based on your reading speed, then close the book and recall. After some time, maybe after 1 day, after 24 hours, after 10 days, after 15 days, after 1 month, do one revision of what you have studied. So these 4 times you are sending information. You have seen that short-term memory, long-term memory I mentioned, repeat and rehearse. You are doing repetition for 4 times. Brain will consider it is not a information to be stored in short-term memory. It is something important. Let me share this information into long-term memory. Brain will decide like that and it will shift into long-term memory. Is it acceptable information? Okay. Now I will take any questions you want. See, this is highlighted in such a way that when we start, in 1 day we don't get result. Sometimes I find difficulty in surveying. Sometimes I have a lot of questions not able to go through. Sometimes I am not able to recollect what questions can come in the exams, particular to that particular chapter. No worries. But you are triggering the brain to think and accept it as a informative content which can be stored in the little long-term memory. You are only making it an initiative. You can fail. You can have difficulty to follow this regularly. It's okay. Nothing wrong. Your reading speed might vary. Some people will read very less, 300 to 500 words per minute. Some people are more, 600 to 800 words per minute. There are some people who have a photographic memory. They'll see once, they'll remember forever. Something like that. That has to be one, either it has to be gifted by God or it has to be trained. So here we are training. Okay. So recall is just a part of a exercise where you get an immediate recall. So when it's like brushing the immediate memory. So I just recall what I read. When you do this, when you are not able to remember what you read, just open the chapter and read it one more time. For example, you could have read 4 paragraphs. Out of that, you could recall 3 paragraphs. 1 you forgot. So take out that forgotten one and read it and again repeat this. So this can be repeated 1 or twice. Okay, na? 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs you are reading. While recalling, you could only recall 3. First one you forgot. So read this and then go to the next. Okay. First take home message is reading speed. Check your reading speed by doing 3 times. So you read for a minute. Check how many words are there. Do it an average of 3 times. Okay. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. In 3 minutes, separate. Each 3 minutes are separate. How many words you could read in those 3 minutes? 1 minute each. So take an average of that. So that is your average for that day. And keep checking it every 15 days or 1 month. Okay. Second technique is so it is called as Pomodoro technique. It can be used in any aspect of your life. Normal, working hours, your studying hours, and anything you can use. So it is very easy. Intense focus for about 25 minutes, then 5 minutes of relaxation. So what you do is 25 minutes intense focused work then 5 minutes free or relax. So total it becomes 30 minutes. So one Pomodoro means 30 minutes of time. In that you use 25 minutes of uninterrupted, completely focused, intense concentration. You do anything, you want to play, you can play 25 minutes at a stretch, no distractions. You are studying, you study for 25 minutes without a single distraction in between. So you are triggering your mind to focus for 25 minutes. Next 5 minutes is totally relaxed. In that 5 minutes you do anything you want. You want to snack yourself, you want to have some milks, you want to listen to the music, you want to watch some cartoon, something for 5 minutes, no problem. So one Pomodoro is 30 minutes. So for you as a student, you should plan for 4 to 5 Pomodoros per day. So 25 minutes each, 4 to 5, it will become is a series of 25 minutes focus, 5 minutes rest. Again 25 minutes focus, 5 minutes rest. 25 minutes focus, 5 minutes rest. 25 minutes focus, 5 minutes rest. Focus on the rest part. 5, 5, 5, 5. So 20 minutes of rest plus 100 minutes of
120 minutes. If we do it for 120 minutes, please.
Yeah. So this will enhance your attention span. This will enhance your concentration. This will enhance your recall power. This will enhance it will reduce your distractibility. Again I said, when we see this information looks very easy. When you are doing it, it finds it difficult. So you try out by yourself. Can you sit for study for 25 minutes at a stretch without any distraction in between? Some mobile rings, TV rings, somebody comes in, you absolutely should not get up. So 25 minutes of intense focused work, try it out. Then 5 minutes of full fun, whatever you want to do. Good things, not bad things. Okay. So your target should be 4 to 5 Pomodoros per day. To start with, at least you do 2 Pomodoros per day. Ask amongst your friends, make a friend circle. Don't have a very big friend circle, not useful. Very few friends who are constructive, who are productive, who are helping each other in your studies. Make a Pomodoro, ask them how many Pomodoros you could do per day. Somebody said I did 3, means they studied 25, 25, 25, 75 minutes. And in that 5 minutes what fun they could do, also interact. So let both information comes in. One is intense focus, one is intense free, relaxation. Okay. There was a study conducted amongst children practicing on frontal lobe function. Finger movement task or some of the task where your frontal lobe planning is required. Frontal lobe means part of the brain which is in the front side, which requires your facial identity planning and function. We call it as frontal lobe function. More of planning activities. So they found that resonance of Om chanting, they found that frontal lobe activity will increase, your planning ability will increase, your memory recall will increase, your attention span increases, memory increases, intelligence increases. So they conducted a study of 3 to 6 months in school going children. So sometimes we'll discuss and practice Om chanting, how to do loud chanting of Om. Taking deep breath while exhaling, you are going to say A, U, Ma or Om chanting. So why I am connecting is I am connecting the ancient aspect of yoga and modern medical aspect of frontal lobe function. Last one is Trataka. Trataka is one of the Shat Kriyas. Shat means 6 in Sanskrit. 6 Kriyas of yoga which is meant for cleansing. Kriyas means cleansing. I specifically found this Trataka is very good for increasing your focusing ability, defocusing, both. I also call it as focusing and defocusing technique. So intense focus. See, when our brain is all the time sharp and absorbing too many information without a break, you get into exhaustion. Is it not? Is it not? Your distractibility is more. What I can see, she has a headache, she is lying down, is different. When you two I am observing, your ability to process information is high. You are receiving the information, everything, but you are not able to cope up with your energy. So you are either moving hands or shaking legs and all. So where it means you are taking the information, but while processing, your number of thoughts are too many distractions possible. So this is what my observation from a distance. Where in your case, your intelligence might be high. Your intuition might be good, but you should be able to balance both of this. High intelligence without not being sensitive, not being processing the information right, also it will put a pressure on your brain, pressure on your being. At particular cost, you are using the intelligence. So you should use the intelligence, create activities, while you can also maintain the relaxation. It's a little difficult to understand what I am trying to say. You are actively using your brain for certain outwardly activities when you are doing projecting and doing that, you are able to do it better, but inwardly inside of your brain there are so much multiple ways of activities happening. There you are not able to defocus, or you are not able to cut down those distractibilities which you are having at the back of your mind. Am I making sense? Okay. So those things is you need to work more on the focusing, defocusing. Or I'll tell it in a different way. Stimulation and relaxation. It does not mean that all the time I should be active in the brain. No. Sometimes I can unlearn. Unlearning is also at most important. It is not just stored information. So mobile, data cable also can store the information. What is a hard disk also can store the information, and it will give you all the information whenever you give it. Whenever you ask, whenever you give a command to it, it will give it back to you. So what is the difference between the hard disk data and your brain data? There should.
Doesn't need any break, and we need a break.
Yes, but at the same time, so it need not to be active all the time. It also can be sometimes passive, active and passive. For you to relax more, for you to be more effective, you should not be in the fight all the time. Sometimes you need to rest, relax, replenish your energies, then you go for the fight. I am talking about mind. So it is not, all the education system is training to be very active. Stimulus is more, relaxation is less. They will not give you time to breathe, time to relax, is it not? So again, I will repeat is, I cannot change the education system in a day, but I want to help you to balance the active and passive. So when you are speaking something, speech and silence, also important. You correlate these two words with your absorption, assimilation, re-expression. When you are active, when you are speaking something, the stored information in the brain is coming out, okay, which you have studied, recollected, mugged up, whatever it is. But when you are in silent, you are giving space for absorbing verbal, non-verbal commands, other source of information which can get through, not from the chattering of the mind. So both are important for me. When you are listening actively, some process is happening at the back of your mind, which either it will get in sync with what subject you are talking, or it will go out of sync. What mom is making breakfast, something like that, it will go out of sync. It's okay. But again, if you are able to bring it back frequently to the present moment of study, you are able to gather more. If your mind is distracting to multiple occasions, you are not able to gather more information. You got it? Okay. So we will not go much detail into it. Trataka is a very simple focusing and defocusing technique where it will help you to cleanse your eyeballs by making your eyeballs to, or making your vision to fix sure. So fix your eye gaze. Fix your gaze to a particular object. Object chosen can be any stars, sun, so I will not use sun, moon, any stars, any point, bindu. If I say I will put a dot on this and I will ask you to focus on this, this will become bindu trataka. Okay. So object of focus can be anything. Or another can be Jyoti Trataka. Jyoti is we use candle lamp. Again, Trataka can be divided into two categories. Bahiranga Trataka, Antaranga Trataka. So externally you focus on particular object in the initial days of learning, or you focus on the candle light gaze, initial days, there is an object is outside. But later in due course of time, if you are able to become more professional, more advanced in that, you no need any object outside. You just close your eyes, in between your eyebrows you will get that object. Whatever object you desire for. A spot or a sun or a moon or a star or a same candle gaze, you can get it at the back of your memory, mind pattern. On the background of your mind images, when you close your eyes, you can get the same spot, and then you can do the same focusing, defocusing technique on that particular bindu. Okay? Because it's a daytime, I will only use one small 10 minutes practice of bindu trataka.